with a baby, right, you go like this. It's quite fun. You can even do it with older people. They even smile about it, right? It's Dad's gone, and the baby's all shocked to death about that. Where'd he go? Oh, look, he's back. You know, the baby is playing with the reliability of the world, so it's a real intense game for a baby. It's like, it's like, oh no, Dad's gone. Oh, look, he showed up again. Oh no, he's gone. And then Dad's smiling to indicate that those brief flashes into non-existence aren't existentially terrifying beyond capacity, right? And so, but the point is that if you're playing peekaboo with a baby, you're not thinking anymore. It's not in the realm of articulation or abstraction. It's actually something that you're doing with your body. And so to me, this is a nice multi-stage solution to the mind-body problem, because what happens is at the higher order of abstraction, it's articulated and conceptual. But if you decompose it sufficiently, you end up with an actual action, and the action involves the movement of musculature. It's not something conceptual. And one of the things that's really cool about this hierarchy is that it has educational lessons. So one of the things you want to do if you're trying to teach someone something, even yourself, is you want to specify the thing that needs to be doing at the highest resolution possible level. So I'll give you just a brief example. So let's say, I may be repeating this, but it doesn't matter. Say you've got a 3-year-old kid and their room is chaos, right? There's monsters are going to be coming out under the bed in no time flat, unless that room gets some order in it. And so you tell the kid, clean up the room. You know, it's a mess. And you leave and you come back and the kid's like throwing Legos everywhere. They're not cleaning up. And then you think, that's a bad kid. That's a bad theory, eh? Because you're going right from here to here. And if you want to have a good fight with someone and destroy them, then that's what you do. You don't bother with the subtleties down here. You just go right for the jugular. It's like you're a bad, stupid kid. You've always been that way. You're hopeless. There's not a chance of teaching you anything, right? And that way you can nail the past, the present, and the future all in the same insult. You've always been a terrible person. There's no teaching you, and your future's going to be exactly the same way. Then the only thing the person can do, if you do that to them, is hit you, because that's it. There's no coming back from that. You've boxed them completely in. So if you want to have a really unproductive argument, you go right for this. Past, present, and future, you're not a good person. Demolish their entire conceptual structure and expose them completely naked to chaos. It's like, great, you won the argument. It's not a good thing to do to your long-term partner, let's say, unless you want them terrified out of their skull and characterized, and their attitude towards you characterized by non-stop extreme resentment. It's probably not going to do your love life a hell of a lot of good, for example. So with the 3-year-old, maybe what you do is you say, you pick the level of analysis at which they're actually functioning, and you say, and this is something you can do if you pay attention to a kid, and lots of people won't pay attention to children because they're terrified of them. They're terrified that they'll do something wrong with them, or that the kid won't like them or some damn thing. It's like, all you have to do to get a kid to like you is pay attention to the kid for like 2 seconds, and the kid will instantly like you, because attention is it's the ultimate currency for children, right? They need adult attention because adults know way more than kids, and so they love attention. All you have to do is pay attention to them, and they will like you instantly. So you tell the kid, you see that teddy bear? The kid goes, yes. Then you've established that the child has mastered the art of perceiving a teddy bear. Because they can say, yes, it's a complicated thing, man. It's like a 6-month-old isn't going to do that. 3-month-old has got the whole teddy bear identification subroutine automatized. So, teddy bear, yes. Can you pick it up? Yes. Pat, pat, pat. Good work. Do you see the hole on that shelf? Yes. Can you put the teddy bear in that hole? Yes. Go over and do that. Pat, pat, pat. Great. Okay, now we'll do thing number 2, thing number 3. So you're building up the micro routines of cleaning up the room from the bottom up, right? You're building it into their body because you're starting with the things they've already automatized and building upwards towards abstraction. And so once the kid has all the micro routines down, and maybe there's I don't know, how many micro routines are there to clean up your room? 200? Like a lot, but not an infinite number. So you teach them all the micro routines, and then you can say, run set of micro routines, which means clean up room, and then they can do it. They know what it means. So, but you do the building from the bottom up, and lots of times when you're arguing with someone that you live with and hypothetically love, although those two things are hard to get together in the same relationship. What you want to do is assume stupidity before you assume total malevolence. That's a good rule of thumb for establishing peace. So maybe if your partner won't do something, well, maybe there's something going on up here, but you might want to assume to begin with that they actually just don't know how to do it, and you need to decompose it. So maybe there's a way you want to be greeted when you come home, because you're going to come home every day probably, and maybe that's a 5-minute interaction or a 10-minute interaction. So that's an hour a week or 4 hours a month or 50 hours a year or one solid work week of coming home interactions, right? All you have to do is get 50 interactions like that right, and you've got your relationship sorted out. That's something that's really worth thinking about, because that's it.